Justin Shackil joining us right now. You can hear him calling the Yankees and the Mariners. He called the Yankees and the A's as well, doing an awesome job. You can hear him on WFAN, on YES Network, covering the Yanks for years. First time, I think, on this show. Justin, great to have you on, man. How you doing?
It is my first time. Pleasure to join you guys. What's going on?
You're doing a great job. Love hearing the calls. Let's go backwards for a moment. How was Sacramento? Because that was your first Yankees game that you ever called on TV. And you're calling it in such a weird environment. I know it was packed there, obviously, because the owner of the A's loves Aaron Judge, and obviously there's plenty of Yankee fans out there. But how was that whole experience for you?
Okay, from a play-by-play standpoint, I was getting PCL'd a lot. There's no third deck. A little challenging to judge some fly balls because there's really like no background there. But overall, it was fine. The wind plays a factor for sure, but as far as the ballpark experience in total, it was fine. Sacramento was a really nice host city. Everybody around the ballpark was super kind. They're trying to make the situation as comforting as possible. And overall, I have nothing but nice things to say about what we went through in Sacramento.
Does it count because your first game was in Sacramento and that's a minor league city? So does that count as your first
Oh,
big league play-by-play game?
that's a great question. I did ask myself that. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say it counts for sure. Just to add more to the ledger. But there was something that I definitely felt when I walked into T-Mobile Park and again like just saw the third level of a big league ballpark. And I've been here the last few years with the Yankees, so it was a familiar territory. And it felt good to uh, be in Seattle. Yankees have had a lot of success here, and they're rolling right now. I know you guys just talked about their home runs. I mean, 74 in 41 games. Uh, Really impressive any way you slice it.
Let's get deeper into the Yanks right now. Justin, tell me what you're seeing that's working well for this team. And then also, obviously, on the other side of the spectrum, where are the concerns at? I know we've got Fried pitching tonight. That's probably a good place to start because they nailed that one.
Yeah, not a concern there. That's for sure. Max Fried has been everything and probably more for the Yankees, especially when Garrett Cole went down. He stepped up. I mean, he is filled in the ace role as well as you could hope for. Carlos Rodon, I feel like, is getting more and more comfortable with each start in year three now as a Yankee. Starting to see Clark Schmidt again. He started the season late. Last night he pitched into the seventh inning. I think that was like the next step for him as a younger pitcher, trying to find his way in the big leagues with the type of stuff he has. It was just the second time in his career where he's posted back-to-back six-inning outings. So, figuring out a way for him to effectively navigate an opposing lineup the third way through, that's been a quality sign for sure. I think ultimately their biggest need is still another starting pitcher near the back of the rotation. They're going to get Luis Gil back. He's about to begin a throwing program here, so he's got to still ramp up and do his entire real spring training again. But I think the biggest need is probably another starting pitcher in that rotation. The offense, I know AJ mentioned it. When you run into great pitching, when the games matter more down the stretch and in October, the real test is there. But right now, with the games you're playing in front of you, I think you're seeing a different and man, without Juan Soto, dare I say, a more balanced offense. They're certainly more athletic, and they're doing a lot of the smaller things right this year.
Okay, because it's not at a highlight, but where does everyone remembers that inning? That inning had nothing to do with their bats, balanced lineup, anything like that. It had to do with their fielding. Is that the biggest because they're still kind of deficient in that area? I think they've upgraded. I think Paul Goldschmidt has helped that a lot because Rizzo wasn't having a great year when he was there. Is that the one area that they can't upgrade? You can't just go and find gold at the trade deadline. Like you can't find gold glove infielders to plug in.
Well, look, through 41, you're right. Goldschmidt's made a huge difference at first base. I think you got to, I guess, maybe see more of what you're getting from the entire infield as we lead toward the deadline. I still think pitching is like if you're going to address one big need, if you're going to give up some type of prospect capital, it's going to be for another starting pitcher. But yeah, I think a big question after that one inning in the World Series is like, hey, what's that going to do to this team? Are they going to get tougher? Is that going to harden them up a little bit more and serve them really well for the future? That was what obviously the hope was if you're around the team. I think that was one of the bigger questions that you probably had for the group as a whole. What would be the residual effect of that World Series outcome? So far, so good. I think Paul Goldschmidt has a lot to do with that on both sides of the ball. He's making really nice plays at first base. He's making it easier on the other infielders. Yeah, maybe they are going to press the need for another infield. We obviously know what happened with Oswaldo Cabrera last night. Third base is open. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is out right now. Second base is open, but they're going to wait and see, I feel. And again, ultimately, if you have to ask, if you're going to have to choose between a big upgrade in the infield or address the rotation, I'd be going with starting pitching.
All right. So how bad is this injury? Not in the sense of like we saw how gruesome it was, but how bad is it in the sense that they win the game, but the feeling in the clubhouse, just the overall because he's not the superstar on the team, but I know what kind of effervescent personality he brings and that smile he brings. How bad of a hit to the vibes on this team is Oswaldo Cabrera getting hurt last night?
Yeah, Eric. I left the ballpark right after the game. I didn't go in the clubhouse, but for everything I heard, like they play music, obviously, like every team does after they come up with a win. There was no music there, and you're right. You talked about the type of person Oswaldo Cabrera is. It's funny because he's so unique in the sense that the human and the player blend together because he brings the same energy and joy uh, on and off the field. And I think he affects so many around the Yankees organization. He's not a superstar player, but he came up a few years ago. He had a hot start. They plugged and played him almost everywhere defensively, and he held his own for sure. And he's playing an effective third base now, came to spring training, won the job. And it is just, it's a real bummer to see him go down like this because the ballpark last night was just stone cold silent. And I call boxing guys. I've seen some, not to get too graphic, but like when I'm ringside and I see like a boxer get knocked down and their head smack off the mat, it's awful to watch. Last night was awful to take in, and it's tough to root for a better person than Oswaldo Cabrera because his joy, I think his mentality, the attitude he brings, it's infectious. It makes you stop and think about whatever problems you may have. And again, this isn't hyperbole here. Whatever problems that you may be going through, once you see him and the joy and the attitude and the smiles that he brings, you kind of say to yourself, man, nothing going on in my life is too bad when you're around people like that. They kind of put things in perspective for you.
Sometimes we get the asks for lightweight hoodies, and I'm like, they exist. They're awesome at Rhoback.
Without a doubt. Comfort, lightweight, durability. I wear these all the time. The color schemes are absolutely phenomenal.
Go check it out. You can use the code FOUL on Rhoback.com for 20% off your first purchase. That's FOUL on RHOBACK.com. 20% off all shorts, hoodies, polos, and more. Go check out Rhoback.
Why do teams pitch to Aaron Judge? Why? I know why. Why are they pitching to Aaron Judge? I don't care who hits behind him, but why would you let him at any time get his A swing off and hit a home run? I know pitchers make mistakes. We're human, but why are we pitching to him?
I don't know. I'm not going to keep asking that. It's too much fun calling his swings. I'm going to take it. Look, they keep pitching to him. He's going to hit him out. He's going to have impactful swings. You're watching greatness, man. It really hit me a couple years ago, like kind of like just slapped me in the face. Like this is truly an all-time great, and you get a front row seat. You get the best seat in the house to watch him. It's incredible. I think the coolest part is that he forces so many people around him and not just inside the clubhouse to, be great and try and elevate their game and rise up in order to, meet his moments. That's certainly the case for us in the booth. So it's so much fun. Yeah, he got on base 4 times last night, like regular night at the office. What? And I know he takes so much pride in the batting average, obviously hitting over 400, but this is a guy who has often talked about in the past how much, the stats that, I grew up with, batting average, runs batted in, you take a closer look at those. Those are the things that, he does pay attention to as well. And watching guys like, an Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera, man, he's right up there now. He's right up there with some of the best right-handed hitters of the last quarter century.
My thing is just you look at all these pitches that he's hitting out. They're all out over the plate. Does anybody ever pitch him in? Does anybody ever throw Aaron Judge inside? Because every ball he hits is. I mean, I know he does pull some breaking balls every once in a while, but every home run we just showed was a ball out over the plate, and he just extended center to right, especially in Yankee Stadium. Good Lord. But, I mean, he can just shank a ball, and it still goes down the right field line for a home run. But does anybody ever pitch him inside?
Well, how would you call for pitches against him?
You gotta show him something in. I'm sorry, I know. He's got a hot zone in there, but I think the hot zone is on breaking balls that don't do a lot. I mean, you gotta give him something inside at some point. And every game I watch, it's like slider away, fastball away, slider away, and he's just like, I'm gonna keep leaning out there until they make a mistake, and then I'm gonna shoot him right center for a homer.
What's wild is I feel like they're going by the book from like 2017, 2016 when he first broke in. He would chase those pitches. Yeah. He hit 179. Obviously, the evolution of a great hitter like Aaron Judge, it's changed over time. That's what I think when I see those breaking pitches with those sliders kind of tail off the outside part of the plate. He spits on them now. A completely different hitter. You're not going to see him chase these things anymore. He's become, again, the elite of elite. So I'm with you, but I'm not questioning it. I can't question it. It's too fun.
You're rooting for it. Man. You're rooting for it.
It's too much fun.
He's a homer. I get it. You're a homer. That's okay because we all should be homers when he comes up to the plate.
How am I supposed to feel in this situation?
Right. No, that's it. So that's why I'm going to ask my next question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes. You know what's funny? You brought up Chris Mad Dog Russo, okay? New York kid. Grew up listening to Mike and Chris. It's just like embedded into me. They got to have 6 Hall of Fame worthy seasons, 7 Hall of Fame worthy seasons. Like that's the magic number. He's right there. Aaron Judge is right there. And yes, I mean, it's only a matter of the days coming off the calendar at this point because he's just going to continue this incredible production. So yes, in my book, he's already a Hall of Famer.
He'll get in. If he just continues to do what he's doing, he's in. He's in. He played in New York. He's the captain of the New York Yankees. So he's already checked 2 boxes, okay? And he's really good with the media. There's 3 boxes. And then 4 is he's a really good player. So he's going to get in.
Judge?
Oh, for how long?
100%.
Of course.
What do you mean for how long?
How long does he need to play?
If he finishes his contract and he has average years, he's in.
Okay. He's got 1,091 hits right now. He's got 329 homers.
It's looked at differently, Justin.
It's way different.
How
many more years does he have on his contract? How many more years does he have? 4 more years? 5 more? How many more years?
Justin, you know this. There's a line that most voters use nowadays. You can agree with it or not, but they're looking at stuff like WAR, career WAR, and I'm pretty sure he's already above the number needed. Yeah. He's at 56 for Baseball Reference.
Although we did bring up Lou Whitaker yesterday, who had like 75 and is not in. So just FYI.
Right, but, different time period.
No, different 75 WAR. But my point is if he has, 6 more years left on his contract? I forget what year, when Arson Judge almost signed with the Giants. So if he has 6 more years left on his contract and he hits 25 homers a year, that puts him at almost 500 homers. You don't think if he hits 490 homers and does what he keeps doing, he's not going to be in? He's in. He's going to be in. I'm sorry, he's in.
50 plus, Justin, I think generally gives you good consideration. Then you factor in what he's done during that time period. And yes, he's going to play for years. I don't even think it's a debate.
It will help him if he wins a World Series, though. Maybe not for the Hall of Fame, but for Yankee fans to just let it go. Kind of like, there's certain people that just need to win that thing if you're on a certain team because the Yankees have to win. It's win or nothing. He's got to get the World Series.
Yeah, as far as the Hall of Fame goes, I'm with you, Scott. I think that's how you'll probably look at it on that note. But I think Aaron Judge would agree with you. He wants the World Series. He wants the championship title, and I think that's why you always hear him say, "Yeah, I'm not a finished product yet." Like, dude, you're hitting 409. He's like, "Yeah, there's still room for improvement." So I think that's what's fueling him there.
Hey, Justin, last one from someone, obviously. I've known you for a long time now, and I think we're in a similar age. I mean, you've been, in my mind, one of the better broadcasters, voices, the whole deal in baseball, right, for a long time. So without going through your whole life story, I just think your story is super helpful for a lot of aspiring broadcasters out there, and how difficult it is, especially obviously to make it in New York. But can you just give either one tip or one, kind of appreciation moment to point out for people that have followed your story for a while? Like, yeah, this guy's crushing it, and now he gets to call the big stage Yankee games in the top market in the country.
Man, thank you for first and foremost. Thank you. One piece of advice. I mean, 500% all the time. Don't ever put your head on your pillow and think, what if, or have any regret. Um, and there's a lot of noise out there for sure, in this social media age, and it's a cesspool. Let's call it what it is for sure. Um, I would say in order to not listen to the people that don't matter, never look for the criticism from someone you'd never take advice from. But overall, 500% every time. 100%, that's yesterday. 500% all the time. It takes discipline and obviously time management, but if you blend the two together and you give it your all, you're going to feel good about yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're doing it right, man. That's a good call too, because it is.
And by the way, I just
cesspool.
want people. I don't know Justin's story like you do.
Yeah.
But can we also just have people understand that you don't start as like the Yankees play-by-play guy? Okay, because there's kids that come up to me that have seen this show and seen me on Fox, and they say, man, you start, oh, how do I get a job like yours? I'm like, well, you got to go to like some little town. And now I was obviously fortunate because I played. And
Yeah.
I'm a different animal than like normal play-by-play guys.
Yes.
But like you got to go to, I don't know, Wichita Falls, Kansas, and do the weather, cat racing, or whatever it is, and get a tape, and then work your way up. You got to work in the minor leagues. Like I had a whole conversation with Adam Amin on Saturday about him working for the Somerset Patriots. And I met some guy that knew you. I don't know his name. Was the GM?
AJ, you want to know what's cool?
I worked for Somerset.
You want to know what's cool?
I know he knew you.
You want to know what's cool? Yeah. I mean, I packed my air mattress in my Nissan Xterra driving to Knoxville, Tennessee, and Mobile, Alabama to call minor league baseball for about 5-6 years. And what was really cool in the Southern League then, you had myself, you had Joe Davis cutting our teeth with the Mobile Bay Bears and the Montgomery Biscuits. Tommy Thrall, who's the Reds voice now. There are others there. Alex Cohen, who's crushing it on Cubs TV. We're all in the Southern League at the same time, and if I'm forgetting someone right on the spot, I apologize. But yeah, Adam was doing his thing, Scott was doing his thing, and what's interesting is like at least for me, like with a guy like Joe Davis, like I met him. We started. It was right at the start where like strangers wouldn't hesitate through like Facebook to like reach out to someone that was working toward the same goal and say, "Hey, I just want to introduce myself. I think you do really, really solid work. You want to listen, can you listen to my stuff and offer a tip or something like that?" So you're like all in the grind together. It was really, really fun.
Hundreds, if not thousands, of combos with. That's like my thing. I'm like, I'm not rich, but I can give time, and so on the road, phone calls with people that reach out. And I'm sure Justin's done a million of that. We all do it. That's like our thing. You're like, all right, I'm going to give you everything you need to know. I try and be a straight shooter now too, and tell them about the politics and all that in the offices. But anyway, we can go all day
how long
that.
was Don Orsillo in Pawtucket? He was there for like 10 years before he got called up to the – these dudes grind.
There's a lot.
Grind.
Matt Vasgersian, who
Kratz thinks he's a grinder. These dudes really grind.
Yeah, Matty B, he was 10 years or something, a long time in the minor leagues. And he was like, a lot of people get to a point where they're like, I think I'm going to move on. And most do. right? Most do, because
Yeah.
there's only X amount of jobs, but it's crazy. But I totally agree. I got crushed all the time from people on play-by-play saying, I want you to sound like this. And I'm like, well, that's cool. The person you want me to sound like is 78 years old, and I'm 32, and I don't give a crap.
You're 32.
Right.
I'm 37 now. Almost. Anyway, Justin, good talking to you, dude. Keep crushing it out there. Love the combo here. And we look forward to hearing you again tonight.
Thank you so much. Great joining you guys. Have a good one.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.